Something that I've noticed thus far, at least in this set, was Sarkets and Hercules have not been working for either team, and I'm looking for them to just avoid those two entirely and go for something else.
Well, this will be the chance where we get to find out where they want to prioritize here. Game 5 between LG and eUnited, picks and bans here on the screen, and I want to talk to you because we got a chance here in a best of 5 set, Game 5. It feels like it kind of just resets on Game 5. Is that how it is?
Everything's just thrown out the window right now. It's just a clear, clean-cut best-of-1 action. Both of these teams saw each other's hands in the previous 4 games. They know what works. They know what doesn't. I'm expecting the Ho Yi, Amusenkop, Chulainn to be high priority.
Last time Luminosity were in this situation, they brought out a Thanatos solo. I would not be surprised in the least to see them try and opt for another jank pick option that could possibly catch eUnited off guard, because eUnited, I mean, this is their first best of 5, at least for this LAN. Previously, when they played on Wednesday, they were immediately through because of that clean 3-0 to trifecta. But this is a little bit more complicated now. It really puts eUnited to the test.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. This is the test that they didn't have to pass the last time they played. They got to ride that 3-0 and make it all the way here. LG, on the other hand, though, they for sure know what this 5-game seat feels like, and they're ready for it heading in to this first ban. LG, though, choosing to be the first pick here, totally.
Sarkets banned away, which is a little odd to me personally, considering how lack of success it is in this set.
Sure.
And it seems to me that both of these teams really prioritizing this first pick. LG now wanting to go for it.
And of course, AMC still having 0 chances to make it through. And Luminosity actually taking away the Ratatasker themselves, which kind of puts eUnited in a fickle position here, because now they've got to decide, do we want to eliminate the Chulainn or the Morrigan?
And those both have been huge picks, but in particular, it felt like they don't want to see Morrigan from both teams this whole time. Which one do they shut down? eUnited. So sometimes we also see them choose to ban either one and try and take one from themselves. What are you thinking we'll see here, Tolu?
I'm thinking LG's going for a jungle pick. With these 2 jungle bans, they're trying to really take some options away from Scream. His god pool, though, is very diverse.
Yeah.
He's been practicing a lot of janky things outside in the ranked world, you know, running some mages and hunters there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually spice things up in game number 5, similar way LG spiced things up with that Thanatos soloing.
If Luminosity are permitted to select that Morrigan, I would not be surprised in the least to see a possible pickup of the Najah here for Mask. It's a pick that we haven't seen from him at all during this event, and of course, with Morrigan being available, that's going to be their first pick selection, but I think that Najah could possibly complement a Morrigan very well.
And it looks like that's what they did here. eUnited, by banning Robin, do leave both Morrigan and Chulainn open, so they were confident taking whichever one was still there for them. They also got the Hu Yi, which we've seen be very much prioritized in this set too. So eUnited getting Chulainn and Hu Yi.
A lot of space control with eUnited's composition. A Blink Chulainn that can engage, knock up multiple members, followed by the Suns from Hu Yi. Not going to be looking like a good time for Luminosity unless they have some other options. A early sprint wouldn't be a bad idea.
The Chulainn in general is a pretty intimidating pick for eUnited, because Luminosity, Aquarius has struggled a little bit trying to deal with Benji's Chulainn, and I think in the solo lane in general, Benji has been finding the upper hand as far as the direct trades are concerned, but Hercules as well is a strong acquisition, and it's going to be the Najah.
There it is, Mass taking that Najah pick, likely to go into the jungle there to go along with the Hercules and that Morrigan.
This has to be an audio pick for eUnited. It worked out so well for Luminosity shutting down the Hercules, and I could see this going for maybe PBM if they pick it here before the secondary ban phase. Now, this composition from LG is high execution required between this Hercules and Najah.
Fafnir.
Fafnir,
I
yeah.
think that with Fafnir still being on the table, we possibly see the Fafnir pick instead, and then it's going to be the RDO ban from eUnited to better handle Luminosity and their draft.
It is Fafnir that gets locked in there for eUnited, so they'll have the chances in this ban phase to try and take away RDO. But I want to ask, I mean, when we see Morrigan do well, I feel like it's either been on this Rat or this Robin pick here. eUnited, by banning Robin, have they sort of limited some of what Morrigan can do here?
It definitely is the case. It's not going to be easy for Baskin to get those bruisery options. Can still transform into the Chulainn for now, and knowing the way Scream likes to play, he can still have some options to go some resilient jungler. A lot of options have been stripped away, though, between this Robin and Chulainn.
don't think we're going to be seeing the Arachne out of Scream either in game number 5. It has come out in the past in very important sets, but there's a new team environment in eUnited, and I don't think that that'll be the option choice here. If anything, possibilities for a Bastet, as wild as that may seem, it is something that Scream has tended to default to in the past.
eUnited turned their eye towards a couple of the popular support picks, the Ganesh, the Xing Chen, trying to get those out and limit some of the safer options, especially with Xing Chen for JeffHindla. And they do not, though, ban away that RDO.
Something that Jeff can also do, especially if there's going to be a double hunter from eUnited, is going to Kumbhakarna, you know? Getting the sleepy time yawn and being able to limit some attack speed options once that gets broken away wouldn't be a bad idea.
And as well, I do like the option for Luminosity to still have that RDO up on the table. RDO right now, that Cripple Field would be devastating for all 3 of the picks that eUnited have already selected. And it seems as though they're going to stick to with that double hunter composition. As to whether or not it's going to actually be Venenu back on that Hachiman in mid, it's hard to call at the moment because they could choose to switch it up in that manner.
Depends on what Scream elects to pick for this last one. Now, it could still be Chulainn in the jungle for Scream, but then save that last pick for Benji depending on the matchup. Could also still be that Bracken last pick, being able to really shut down the mobility.
Yeah, if they felt like they won, I mean, it's certainly still there. Benji played it very well last game, so it's something that they, I mean, it's available for them. In fact, that would give them most of what they had aside from like the Nemesis and Athena if they wanted to try and run that back one more time. But now it's over to LG to get those last 2 picks for them. Still no hunter for that team, and they still got a couple more options, even for Jeff potentially.
There's always option for Osiris Rom, maybe to be the choices here, although Rom can have a pretty difficult time against that Hu Yi in the dual lane. We've seen a couple of Jing Weis as well. Luminosity, though, they're going to fall back to the same old school combination from the Sex Tank right here with that Bacchus and Anhur.
A very old school matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Basically a kill lane between the belly flop that sets up a lot of damage. You don't even have to use your Impale as Anhur. Once that belly flop connects, you just straight up throw out one in hand, start the Desert Fury, and after Intoxicate, God help whoever gets hit by that.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage over there in that lane for LG. And we haven't seen a whole lot of success here from this Bacchus pick, but JeffHindla, one of the best supports that we have here in the Pro League. We trust him to play it at a high level. Now back to eUnited, though, to decide what they want.
I think the most important part here, though, for Luminosity is just how much disrupt potential they actually have for that double hunter composition. In that previous match, Luminosity's draft, I felt like, didn't really have as much interrupt. It was mostly trying to rely on the Circuit Fafnir, but of course, those are single target that you're going to be looking to take away from. But that Bacchus, Nija, Morrigan, Hercules, all of these members have the CC, I feel, to properly handle these double hunters. And I'm not sure that eUnited are going to prosper in the same manner as they did in the previous match.
Well, eUnited last time just relied heavily on Fafnir being that sole magical damage, and it wouldn't surprise me if maybe a Thor comes out for Scream, getting some global pressure, still a little bit of resilient options if he builds tanky, having some good setup with that wall, being able to really enable some of his long range, but instead it's going to be more frontline-ish with Odin.
Yeah, they choose to take this Odin pick here for eUnited. That big ring, something that they're going to be valuing. Who in particular are they trying to punish here with this Odin cage, Taco?
This is mostly going to be pressure out onto Mask and Aquarius because they know that they recognize a lot of the action has been taking place in that solo jungle early on. So Odin, it could be the right selection here.
All right, well, I don't know if you've been wrong yet here, Taco. Let's get y'all's picks here for this next game.
Well, I'm going to predict first because I've been wrong the entire time. And whoever I'm going to pick, I'm clearly going to curse right now. And looking at these 2 compositions, eUnited has the momentum, and they're confident with this double hunter comp. I'm giving it to eUnited.
LG has a very high execution comp. If they're able to land everything to a T, it's Luminosity's game.
All right, that's what we've got over for you here at the desk. Let's get over there to the casters for Game 5.
Thanks a lot, guys. Tom Battinger here, standing with Ryan Bailey, Aggro, and the Hindu Man. And we've got our Game 5, the final game of the series.
Did you notice, by the way, that Taco's been right every time? So instead of actually making a selection, she totally cops out.
Oh,
If
yeah.
Luminosity hit everything, they win. That way, if they're wrong, then she could be like, well, I still got every game that I actually
They didn't hit
predicted right.
everything, not my fault.
Can we say, though, Hercules has been picked 4 times? This is the 5th time picked. and he's lost every game.
And actually, a little bit of insight. I'm going to steal from Trifecta support Aurora, talking to him off stage before this game, and he was just like, every single game that has gone through, the winner winds up winning solo lane very early on. That last game, Nemesis steals solo speed buff. See you later. The one before that, Aquarius gets control. See you later. Really, that's been the story.
I mean, that's no surprise, especially when eUnited star player is Benji in that solo lane. Aquarius is the newest member to Luminosity. So that was the link that you would think that eUnited is going to try and pressure out. And when they've been successful, they've won the game. When it's been Luminosity stepping over there, helping Aquarius out a little bit, making sure that he's okay in that matchup, it's been Luminosity winning the game.
But that could be one of those things now where both teams, obviously, they're experienced enough with coaches to recognize this. Maybe we even see a bit of a change up here. Maybe even the support start to cross over towards the solo a little bit more at the start.
Sure.
Try and make sure that isn't the case where they get behind, which means it's not going to be the game be-all and end-all because you're solo and it gets ahead.
I mean, there's a number of options for these teams to really take, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's about the execution. And, I might sound like Taco a little bit here, just cough it out just a little bit, but both of these teams, I like their draft on both sides of the ring. It's just a matter of who's going to hit their stuff for Game 5.
Well, the only ring is actually for eUnited. They drafted Odin. There's no both sides there.
Actually, you've also got Najar, which has ring toss, which means there's a ring over there too.
You're right.
But I'm not an analyst, but at least one of us was, right?
Excuse me, I'm standing here. That was good.
Oh.
You could. I mean, he came to your defense. That was kind of. He stepped
No,
up
see,
for you.
Hindu and I are a team.
I'm just a player balance, except on Twitter.
Rest
really?
in peace.
Yeah, that's gonna sting a little bit. Well, Hindu's paused on Twitter. We're not paused in game. Game number 5, Luminosity versus eUnited. Bringing it down to the wire. Winner of this will have the first seed going into the old World Championships.
And first seed. The funny thing is, there's been a thing discussed about first seed curses.
That's true.
Curse,
And that's always been there for the hi-rez Expo. So neither team, wants to give this one up of the first seed curse, and they actually want the first seed curse technically. But then when you look at who they could end up against, well, it depends how the other set goes in Europe too.
We mentioned it. You mentioned it in passing as trying to make a funny. Scream playing on Odin seems weird.
I mean, Benji playing on not Chulainn seems weird too. I want Benji to be the guy who's who's on the playmaking god, who's on the god that can make the biggest impact on the game. Scream has really found success as a facilitator for this team.
Fair.
Odin is the facilitator in this composition. His job is just to go over and cage Aquarius and cage Mask and make sure that their lives are difficult.
They're the only two that you're going to be looking at for Odin to look for, because you can't go on Baskin. He'll just turn into someone and get out. Barry's going to be fine with it, and Jeff's giggling his way to the bank technically with it as well. So it's only really focusing on those two.
So we've got duo lane in the solo side. We've got trio lane in the mid, and then we've got lonely lane where literally nobody's there.
And this is what I was discussing of maybe we'll see a bit of a different start, realizing how much pressure the right-hand side of the map has dictated who's winning this game.
PolarBearMike forced into that early shell.
I don't think he needed to shell there, though, but I think he was a little bit worried about follow-up. Should have recognized that LG didn't have follow-up potential at level 1.
And that's just kind of a lack of looking at your mini-map and seeing how far away everyone is, because Baskin and BaRRaCCuDDa were more worried about clearing the wave than trying to attack the enemy.
And no discredit to PolarBearMike there, but I know he's going to watch that gameplay back and go, yeah, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have voted there.
Oh, Benji, he's so low. Oh, the potions are going to tick. I got so excited. I thought there was going to be follow-up, but Mask not able to find it.
Potions is the key there, though. Look at his potion pool right now. He's only got 1 left in that chalice, I believe.
Yes.
Which means outside of that, he's going to have to take an earlier trip back to base if he just continues to be pressured out.
JeffHindla does a smart thing, blocks the hammer, preventing PolarBearMike from really helping out with the wave clear.
And BaRRa is going to get that purple buff for free all by himself. Believe the duo lane for eUnited was able to solo that down.
Ooh, damage. Blue buff still alive. Actually, players going to look at the other players, not the buff itself.
No hook.
Aquarius,
Herc does not want to be there anymore. You miss your Earthbreaker into driving strike. You missed a driving strike, which was to secure the blue. And that's everything you've got. Now he's back up, though.
What a combo. The stun into the
Massive
flip.
missed the
But
game.
it's Scream, and it's Scream. He's got 5 M's and 2 kills. Nice play at minute 2.
Do want to play out as well, Tommy. You were saying, why we got the Odin on Scream here? And then it's like, okay, that's why. Bird bomb, job's a good one.
I mean, Mask misses 2 critical ring tosses. I mean, Naja isn't as high risk, high reward as a god like Thanatos, where it's like, if you hit your scythe, you're great. If you miss, you're dead. It's pretty close, though, with Naja. I mean, he really relies on that slow, on the damage, and on the speed boost that he gets from it as well.
I like that, yeah. With Thanatos, if you miss your one, you better run. With Naja, if you hit your ring, it's time to swing.
Where is that coming from?
I actually kind of like that.
I know, I do
I'm gonna
too, and I don't want to admit I do like that.
You love it,
Why?
though.
You got to be a team here, Hindu. You guys are on a team, remember? You saved him earlier on, and now you got to give him a pat on the back whenever he does a good job.
Me
Good
and
job,
Aggro are a
Tom.
team now.
I mean, he likes dogs. You don't
I'm
have to
on a
treat him like
team. I haven't known what this felt like in a while.
Last
Well,
time
I
you
mean,
were on a team,
it
you were
was
playing with
with
El
Chapo.
Chapo.
We all knew where that was going.
We
before it
know
even
you
happened.
played with Chapo, Aggro.
The good news is, I guess, from from LG's point of view, is the kills went to an Odin. And, like, Odin's still just going to do Odin things in the mid to late game.
I disagree with your complacency about the kills on Odin.
Yeah, I mean,
because
yeah, I get
Odin's
it.
just, Odin is he does his thing and then he falls off. But if he gets ahead, it's sort of like a chalk. He's
And
just
you're
going to keep doing his thing.
It's the same as, like, an Ares ahead and that sort of thing. Of
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's going to be more useful in the early to late stages. But if that doesn't happen again, which I don't think LG will really let happen again, it's not doom and gloom.
No, and the fact that Scream has gone for, again, these Talaria boots instead of the Warrior Tabai is shutting down a little bit of his mid-game burst damage that you could really take advantage of.
I kind of prefer them, though, personally.
More importantly, he has Cage before Mask has ult, before Aquarius has ult, and he can make an impact on this red buff invade with it.
And going on about that Odin, I mean, with speed buff and Talaria boots, don't forget as well about how your passive synergizes in terms of kills on the map. You can rotate very, very quickly on Odin, and if you can get in range without having to use a leap to get in range, that means your follow-up potential for the ring after they escape it is fantastic.
Well, he'll likely go Blanket level 12 right now. Needed the bead specifically looking at Mask, although there are a number of other options that are going to be a little bit threatening as far as the crowd control is concerned.
I like the idea here, though, with the Odin pick. I mean, I know we talked about how it's only 2 characters that can really get stuck in this pit heavily, but as you mentioned that Aurora said, it's all about shutting down the solo lane, and if you can get ahead over here, it only is going to take 1 or 2 more cages, and really the first 2 cages, in order to really put Benji in a spot where he can carry the game.
I mean, Scream jumps once, Aquarius uses the ultimate. Here's the ring, Aquarius can't heal, Aquarius can't deal, Scream gets to steal. And down goes the solo laner, 3-0.
Do like the boulder, though. That boulder that came out just then was a really good position for me, just because it cleared the whole wave out straight away, forced him of like, listen, if you're going to go in on me, you have to do this well, because you are going to tank the tower. Didn't have the Earthbreaker, though, to keep Benji in range, but now, potential rotation mass just can't find that sash.
He hits the ring. Can't find the sash. Was in range, actually, if he wanted to go for the ultimate, but I don't think he trusted his hand.
And not a lot of kill potential there, even if he hits the ultimate, so I like the idea to be a little bit more patient.
Oh, look at PandaCat, just always aggressive, pushing BaRRaCCuDDa back, and he's actually going to head back to base.
Surprising to see Panda walk forward a little bit with the ricochet there one more time and just like look for a cheeky one off the edge of the tower. Baskin, though, going to show his own Odin impersonation to chase out Scream, but Scream will be fine for the time being.
Got to run out there. No problem so far. Gremlins, however, in control of Luminosity. PolarBearMike showing, but not going to do it.
Elementals, they're not gremlins.
They're the Gremlins. They're actually the Jeppies.
The what?
The Jeppies. That's
The Tricks tanks now?
So that's what I said originally. So I went down to Australia and they call them the Jeppies. You know how we have a couple of troll clans right here? They have troll clans on their own server called the Jeppies.
Oh.
And so that's what they call
So
the little Gremlins.
European, they're Lasons.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
That is exactly the clan I was thinking of. So it's the that's the comparison there.
And then the one in North America, that's the fish tank, if you didn't know that.
yes. Yeah, that's the fish tank
I'm
actually.
part of the fish tank.
That doesn't surprise me.
Wait, Fish Tank's not like the troll clan.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it is.
Well, only because you're in it. But like, as soon as you
That's
get
exactly
kicked,
why,
as soon
though.
as you get kicked, like it'll be fine.
Listen, like, please don't. I've had enough of the suspensions. and
Maybe I'm gonna
bans.
go. No, JeffHindla might though. Oh, the old-fashioned 2v2.
But he's only level 6, and that's why you're going to see him very much on the defensive. He's not really going to the game just yet on this Bacchus. You mentioned it yourself. You weren't too excited about seeing the Bacchus pick again.
Oh, just a toss. Aquarius puts his team on the marker with a little bit of boulder. Benji, I think, got ahead of himself.
Sometimes that's all you need is just a toss.
And that was good timing for Luminosity's solo lane. Mask heading over there, making sure that not only that Aquarius can get a better start in this game, but that Mask himself can get a little bit of extra farm. He fell pretty far behind Screammmmm, but he's done a decent job of farming, trying to get back to it. He actually had to match the Talaria boots that Screammmmm had bought in order to try and keep his net worth at least semi-close.
And those 2 kills on Odin, I would have preferred him on Chulainn. I imagine that different potential scenario there around that area. If he would have had more of a lead by getting those kills, having the extra gold, could have changed a couple of different things up.
Potentially, yes, but Screammmmm still has a good lead and can try and influence it on this left-hand side.
PolarBearMike testing the waters, jumping in a little bit. Meanwhile, JeffHindla just going all the way deep. Nice little play by Screammmmm to drop the ring, but it's not going to help him out. BaRRaCCuDDa down Broadway. PandaCat returns. It's a 1-for-1. Both supports fall down, and everybody's happy.
And maybe just being supports is not too doom and gloom, although Baskin's still looking for a bit more pressure there onto Venenu. Won't have any further follow-up for now. 4-2, though. Kills, 1 to Hercules, 1 to BaRRaCCuDDa. That's not doom and gloom.
No, and the fact that you trade support for support, and both hunters on each side get a kill is pretty even, but remember that Jeff was a little bit behind of PolarBearMike, meaning that kill for BaRRaCCuDDa ends up being worth a little bit more.
Going back to the hunters again as well. Remember the last game when we saw, okay, so it was Boots for Barra first, then into Devos, and then it was Panda into Devos, into Boots. Now they switched again. It's like they play mind games with each other a little bit, and like neither of them like, oh, did I win this? I don't know yet. Let's find out who wins the game.
And that's another reason why BaRRaCCuDDa getting a kill there is a little bit more impactful, because that gives him the 5 more stacks towards the Devourer's Gauntlets, which means that he's going to be done stacking that a little bit sooner.
Right now, early in our game, eUnited with a quick little lead here. Just shy of 2,000 gold. They're up 4-2 as well. So heading into the mid game, well, we're still in the early game, but as we make our transition into that early stages of the mid game, Screammmmm really needs to still maintain his ferocity. He's 3-0-1 right now, and that's perfect for a lever line Odin. That's like what you think about when you draft the Odin, but he needs to continue it right now.
And look at the comps as you go towards late game stages. I mean, it's relatively even. I want to say in one sense, LG definitely ahead of the late game, you know, with a Najar on that team, and as well you've got that Morrigan and of course BaRRaCCuDDa. But then right hand side, well, there is 2 hunters and a Fafnir, so you can't count them out either.
Yeah, the late game for both sides is pretty strong, though I do think Luminosity is a little bit stronger just because Naja can be so hard to deal with in the late game. I mean, we're talking late game, 6 items, you know, a power potion. Mask, if he wants to build in that style, can just one-shot one of these hunters with the relics up if he can catch him with something like a blink ult.
Aquarius going to pop the sprint because he sees the writing on the wall. Screammmmm jumps over said wall.
I think that was a wise sprint as well. It may not looked a bit odd because he wasn't going to get hit by the bird bomb, but he was in range for the ring after the bird bomb. Once he stepped in there, you saw the Earthbreaker driving strike used to clear the wave. Means he's just a sitting duck of wandering around a ring hoping he doesn't die.
I wonder what if it's going to be Aquarius who gets a Phantom at level 12, or if it's going to be JeffHindla, or potentially even both.
Or none?
Upgrade. I can't imagine that they get none here, because that really shuts down Aquarius' frontline ability far too much in the later stages. Plus, it's not like it used to be where getting Phantom felt bad, because all it really does is get you out of Odin cage. The upgrade is incredibly powerful.
Meanwhile, here's an Odin cage that you're talking about. Baskin going to be stuck up in it. He's going to jump out as he puts a ring on the ring. Here come the Suns, and Mask just going to dance inside of him, waiting for somebody to engage on him. Nice little ring bounce.
Oh, great ring bounce. I don't know why Venenu used that ultimate there. A little bit panicked more than anything else. He was using it to disengage and went, hang on a second, Pony, turn around. But it was too late. Everybody on LG already fell back. So, interesting skirmish. A lot of ults used, but no one really getting an advantage.
And Ven had to use the purification beads as well. Screammmmm used his there. It's very much in Luminosity's favor with that trade.
Pings coming out of the purple buff. Luminosity want to invade eUnited's jungle here, as Red going to respawn just in time as well. Mask, however, already at a health deficit, 75%. Because of that, he's going to have to walk away. eUnited pick up their own buff.
I actually think Mask on the exit there actually did manage to get with the Bomber's Mask one of those ring bounces to kill one of the baby minions. So we got a bit of a heal off that as well and get him away.
That's the big plays right there. And Benji, I like this idea from him. Just go into the enemy jungle, try and find the enemy back harpies, and keep your farm up, because him staying ahead of Aquarius in this lane is the win condition right now for eUnited come mid-game. Then it transitions into Venenu and PandaCat having that Fafnir coerce on them in the late game, but in the early stages, they're really relying on him having a big lead, and so far, Benji's delivered.
I feel the big race is going to be now the next relic. As soon as the next relic's online, that's going to be a big go sign for whichever team hits that first. Obviously, with an Odin getting there just before a Naja, that's huge for the Blink initiations, and the right-hand side tower going down now means that, you know, Benji's going to have a bit more rotation ability now because he knows he can't go for a tier 2.
JeffHindla gets spotted an award there. LG still fine over there at the door. JeffHindla still getting pinged. Meanwhile, right side, Benji attracting players. He's got help right in the jungle, so no hard commit coming out from Luminosity. Instead, eUnited get to group up and look for this speed buff invade.
But Scream's ultimate is on cooldown. He must have used it in the mid lane somewhere there. So that was an aggression onto Jeff, who can't seem to get away as the fat man.
Just stuck in the middle of everybody. PolarBearMike with the last hit on his opposing support. Venenu low. Venenu's gone. Aquarius with the big old boulder. Meanwhile, Benji and Scream both very low. One will do it, and there it is from Mask. Benji sits down. It's a 1 for 2. LG on the positive.
And no other hunters in the engagement because they were both dealing with each other in mid, making sure they couldn't get involved either.
Love the idea there from Luminosity to just let Jeff get in there and soak up a ton of damage, then try and get in there and finish off what he started. That's what Bacchus does so well. Do damage before you fall.
That's what Jeff does so well. Jeff just wants to absorb all the ultimates. He wants to go, guys, I'm dead, but they use this, and now you can win the fight.
I mean, yeah, and like you said, this is what Jeff does, this is what Bacchus does. This is why Bacchus has been one of Jeff's staple picks for so long. I mean, going all the way back to pre-season 1, he wanted to play Hades, but he had to play Bacchus.
Oh no, it's eUnited gonna have to give up this Gold Fury. They know this is happening. They've got Oracle Vision, but PandaCat was a little bit poked out, didn't have his ultimate, no way for him to get in there and affect that fight. So eUnited give up the Gold Fury, and that gap gets pretty close now.
That just evens it up more than anything else. That generally comes down to that play where they collapse on Jeff, fuse a lot on him still aren't able to kill, and Luminosity turn it around.
It's also a big deal that, remember, Benji used his ultimate in a weird spot on the right-hand side whenever Mask and Aquarius were on top of him after a nice pull by Aquarius back in. If Benji has his ultimate there, he might be able to make a bigger impact, could be able to transform. He never was able to rage out in the middle of that team fight.
Right now, eUnited starting to spread out a little bit as Luminosity kind of tie the game with that Gold Fury take right there. So
I like the grouping on the left-hand side from eUnited, though, just a little bit. Look to pressure out the tower, try and make sure they get a little bit of gold, continue holding the lead they've got, this, even though it's marginal. Also puts a less of a defensive spot, and especially with near enough the middle tower being at half health too, the right one already being down, eUnited are winning the game overall based off objectives.
Well, there's going to be Mask with the blink. The beads will be forced out by PandaCat. He'll wait as Odin drops a ring, and there's a transformation. Meanwhile, Naja goes to the sky. That's going to be Mask, and he's going to bring one down, but it's Scream that's going to fight on back. PandaCat jumps as well. Can't find the ricochet, but Scream finds the in-hand. There's the death of the jungler. It's 1 for none. eUnited on the chase.
And there's no tower on this left-hand side, so these two carries from LG need some help, unless BaRRaCCuDDa just takes it to PandaCat.
The knockback pushes Scream out of harm's way. BaRRaCCuDDa can't seal the deal, and he's got to walk out, but a different story for Aquarius.
Aquarius coming in big in this team fight. Benji found one as well. The soul laners end up being impactful here, and it might keep going for eUnited.
Oh no, Aquarius pushes the player towards BaRRaCCuDDa, says, my bad, and then pulls him away.
Yeah, it's like, hey, how you doing? Oh, sorry, I forgot you still had ultimate. I guess I'll make it disengage too. Crazy fight on the right there.
Really good idea there from Luminosity to continue the aggression, but PandaCat had his purification beads up. Mask being accurate with that Windfire Wheels is critical, though. If he doesn't buy time, get up in that ultimate, and just ignore the damage from Scream and the rest of all of eUnited in that cage, and that fight goes much worse for LG. Ends up A-OK because of a really good individual play from BaRRaCCuDDa.
Will say the start of that fight, though, came down to Venenu getting the first couple of kills in that. His actual ultimate slowed down the targets, which allowed eUnited to continue the chase. It was just a good individual plays from Mask and BaRRaCCuDDa and Baskin to 2v3, 2v4 for a while until they got reinforcements.
That's really the key for me here, is Luminosity able to take out the portal demon there. When you look at Naja, everybody talks about, can you kill somebody in your ultimate? But for me, it's so much less about that and more about, can you flicker the target in and out of the team fight? You grab the support. You grab the support. You're not going to kill the support, but the support can't do the job if he's exiled.
Exactly, and that's what can make that Naja pick so valuable. And Mask has recognized that he's just getting caged as often as possible and not going for that style of one-shot the Hunters in the late game build. Instead, it's the not get one-shot himself by the Hunters.
Still no Phantom for LG. You were mentioning you would like to see 1 or 2. Well, same time though, Jeff isn't level 12 yet. If there's going to be a Phantom, it will be Jeff at this point. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Mask forced to ult defensively, scared of that bird bomb.
I like the play. I don't foresee Mask needing that ultimate in the next cycle. So totally fine right there. Not a big deal. The buffs are going to be invaded here just a little bit.
A little bit worried though. Double Hunters with the Hachiman means they can pressure towers now, and there's not going to have that Naja ult for defense.
Hachiman and Fafnir, 2 gods that can increase attack speed of everyone else on that team.
Well, that's certainly going to happen right there. JeffHindla finds a stun. Tier 1 tower still alive. Meanwhile, there's a frenzy. Scream on the back line. Here's the jump away as JeffHindla trying to escape. Venenu says absolutely not. The Tier 1 tower falls down as well. And Benji tosses on the thorns to provide some defense.
Still going to go in is Benji. Look, it's like Baskin, I should say, not Benji with the Odin. Looking to try and pin one in place, and it's Benji under pressure. He will fall down. 1-for-1 support for solo. LG are okay, but maybe not now.
The ring had so much impact there. Baskin using the ultimate fantastically, but the turnaround as the United support puts down the jungler. 2-for-1 so far. Venenu tanking the tower.
Oh, the boulder!
That was just not their target. Aquarius could have gotten the double kill, but he chooses the wrong target.
He could have tried to guess which direction Venenu was going, and Venenu just chose right that time. PolarBearMike under a bit of pressure, thanks to the pillar that's adding to the problem as well from BaRRaCCuDDa. Now the leap will turn to Panda. If he would have stayed on Mike, he would have got the kill, but he went for the big play onto PandaCat.
But he gets the purification beads. I still agree with you, though. I think that killing Mike is the better option there, and you're totally right. If Aquarius just tries to guess which way Venenu is going to go, doubt he would have been able to kill Scream with how much protection he has from that mystical male. Venenu just makes the better play with the juke.
Almost every single relic used in that team fight. You see that? Almost every single relic used in that team fight. BaRRaCCuDDa walks away without his relics.
But that's the classic style that LG played to. I mean, generally it has always been, even though it doesn't look like it is, protect BaRRa to an extent. You want to make sure he stays well, but BaRRa's position is generally pretty damn solid too. Now and again, he'll burn both his relics to try and make a big-time play, and that can come back to haunt him, but make sure his relics are available means that he's going to be much more further forward in some of these engagements, knowing that the enemy doesn't have those available.
I'll tell you what, BaRRa's looked great so far on this Anhur.
He always does.
3-0-3. It's incredible what this guy can do on LAN. He's always been a really, really solid LAN performer. When you look at the North American player stats all-time at LAN, BaRRa's near the top in almost every relevant category.
Really, BaRRaCCuDDa, you know, we talk about him being great on this Anhur, which he totally is. All pros have a good Anhur. What they do on what they do waiting for their games, they all Anhur joust.
No, they don't.
They all Anhur joust, but I wouldn't say every pro Hunter's got a great Anhur.
There's a teammate who he lanes with all the time that if you said that to, he'd be like, no, I'm not. JeffHindla's not going to go down.
The only non-support god Jeff can play is Anhur. He
can play a mean Zeus.
Can he?
He can.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he goes tank boost,
tech.
But, you know.
New tech from JeffHindla. He used to say, man, snap, they took my support. I guess I'll play ADC, Anhur damage carry, because it's the only god he can play.
But talking about Jeff a little bit more now, he really needs a little bit more experience. He's got to get to level 12 soon.
Yeah.
It's fine being behind as a support character. Being 2 levels behind the enemy support or 2 levels ahead of the enemy support isn't really a big difference. However, this relic really is. Especially if we're talking about these phantoms causing problems. It would have been nice if they have one by now. They're going to have to hold him. He might not even go for it, but he does need a second relic.
I do like his itemization, though, taking into account eUnited's draft.
Having a lot of physical defense that are by way of either reducing the physical power from everyone on eUnited with that Jade Emperor's crown, or the sovereignty. I completely agree with you. This is a very intelligent build coming out from JeffHindla. Sovereignty, not an item we see a lot of these days, but can be very impactful.
But Jeff's always that defensive player for his team anyway. Like, he doesn't go high to the urchin because it's too individual. He's the one that's going to go auras for days because I'm about the team.
Well, right now, Luminosity going to be part of the team, trailing by 1,000 gold, give or take. Very close one here. eUnited, however, have the map positioning that they want. Portal Demon about to spawn. Baskin going to show up here, and not find a stun.
No Phantom. He hit level 12, back to base, and immediately purchased an upgraded shell instead. That's pretty good against 2 Hunters. Those block stacks are great.
Screen speeds are down. That's actually a really big point out. Benji, on the other hand, going to get aggressive and look for the other 3. Mask taking up 1 player. On the top side is going to be Odin.
How is he not
the
dead?
Cage. Not going to be dead. No, not enough damage. He's tanky, and Benji's still alive.
Not for
Got
long,
him.
though, and now everybody on Luminosity can fall back knowing they got to pick 45 seconds without a solo laner. Means that they can go back in a second and look at the poor demon, unless eUnited recognize that and look to burst it themselves.
You asked how did Mask not get the kill? Look at the build.
Plenty of HP 5, plenty of protections, and now JeffHindla trying to stop exactly what is going on here on this portal demon Aquarius. He almost eats that hammer, but still healthy enough to try and frontline this away.
It's got to be done soon, though, because if it's not done soon, the Luminosity boys will be there. The boulder was just too late and not enough to take it away from eUnited. I love the call from eUnited there to deny that, but now they've got to be careful of the Fire Giant.
LG going to start up. Brought it down. Slowly. PolarBearMike, however, going to be aggressed on. Jumps away. Baskin's invisible. Will get stunned himself instead of the opposite. The players peel off of the Fire Giant, instead looking for the fight.
Benji's back. He's going to come straight for that portal and meet Baskin and Mask right there as well. So keeping him busy. Scream on the backside comes in, but Mask came in beautifully there.
Here comes Venenu with the ultimate. Benji takes down Baskin, and there's Venenu taking down the big man. Trouble for Luminosity as eUnited presses on. The ring cage! It's going to capture literally nobody as Luminosity walk away, but that's all eUnited want.
Now Fire Giant the focus, and with that Heavenly Banner, even without PolarBearMike around, they're going to be able to burn this very, very quickly. Now PBM's going to go up into that Dragon form, and AoE Coerce is going to make it real easy to finish this one off.
Oh yeah, Mask is there, but too little too late, and that was the key there, the portal demon fight. They've pushed too far forward in to eUnited's side of the map, and then Benji comes around the back, Scream around the back, and now LG are just trying to answer back with something. Maybe a kill on Panda would be good, but leap available. Meanwhile, Benji got to BaRRa at the same time. Mask can stand and bank because he's tanky.
The body block!
He's not got the damage to kill anyone.
Oh, the screens! The screens from eUnited. One smack from Mask is going to bring down, well, 2 out of those 4 players, but the screens from eUnited.
I'm just not a fan of Mask's build here with this Naja. I get the idea. He wants to be the initiator and allow JeffHindla to kind of get an Intoxicate off and then go into the backline and peel. But Luminosity and really all the successful teams have really done well with the idea that your jungler and your solo laner get into the enemy backline, cause a ton of disruption, and then you allow your backline to kind of push up as they finish off the enemy frontliners. Naja is one of the few answers that teams have into double hunter and killing them instantly before their relics can go off. But you have to itemize for it. It's risky. You can get one shot yourself, but I really feel like Mask, if he would have gone for at least a little bit more damage, man. I mean, even a Titan's Bane before his 5th item, we could have been talking about. I mean, that's certainly a kill on a PandaCat there, who lives with 1 HP. Benji would have died the fight before that. This is just not the type of build that I think is the best option for Mask in this game.
All Mask is bringing this game is CC. Yeah. That's it. It's not bringing any sort of anything else. He's just like, you get CC'd, and after the CC, it's like, okay, I'm fine against him. I don't have to worry about Mask anymore because that's all he's got is a little bit of CC.
I would be fine if Jeff was itemizing a little bit more offensively, right? If there was a balance between, if Jeff picks up Mage Boots and a Void Stone and then full tank Naja, I see there's a balance, but if you're giving up the damage in the jungle, you're not getting it anyplace else.
Ring is down already, and the focus is really on the tower. eUnited forced back, at least PandaCat was, by Aquarius walking forward. It's too little too late, though, because with double hunting, you can't take them both away at the same time. LG, try to put up some sort of defense there. It's just not going to happen.
I also think the problem is that if Mask wants to go for this CC style, setup sort of god, if you've got a Vulcan, a Scylla, something that can follow up off the CC very nicely from a distance, then sure, you're not worried about that.
Great point.
Yes, a Scylla.
Really?
I know a lot of people
have been joking about Scylla, just saying she's bad.
Well,
I trust Baskin.
The performances haven't been great with Scylla recently, but it only takes one team fight to get turned with an I'm a Monster.
Just a single team fight can change the entire course of the game.
Just one.
With one ultimate from Scylla. But there's no long-range damage from Luminosity off of the setup from Mask.
Yeah,
I mean, Baskin's got Dark Omen.
Everyone always talks about that Scylla setup and that. Just one ultimate from Scylla.
Yeah.
I think of the history of all the Smite games I've casted as Scylla, I've seen that happen 3 times. And one of them was at World Championships, and that's why everyone remembers it. Like,
So you're
Scylla's the
saying there's a chance?
Sure, I am. But there's also
That's all we're saying.
there's also a chance Mask will get full build and build some damage, and then he'll actually just one-shot someone as well, right?
He did. There's a Titan's Bane there, 5th item, bud.
No,
That's
I mean
not full
actual
damage.
damage.
Come on, Tom.
That's
You can't,
damage.
you can't say that's full damage.
Oh, I didn't say it's full damage. I just said
But that's what Graham said. He said if he goes full build and goes full damage, and you were like, yeah, there's a Titan's
Oh,
Bane.
I don't always listen to Graham.
F never
fair.
listens. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I
It's
know,
normal.
like all the time I'm trying to talk to him about stuff on the cast, and he just like starts making noises about what God noises are happening, and I'm just like, really? I'm just trying
What's
to.
PandaCat playing, Tom?
PandaCat? He's playing. Oh, yeah.
That sounds nothing like him.
I know.
You told me it sounded just like
Hammer
it.
out, hits Aquarius as well. And a nice impale onto Benji. They're knock up 2. Keeping him stalled in place has lowered the health of Benji, but
Mask
Scream is around the
misses.
corner.
Mask misses. The blink initiate is going to be off the mark, and Mask is going to be in the dark as he dies to the hand of Scream. BaRRaCCuDDa trying to do what he can, but instead Scream jumps up. Nice little double pull coming out from the Hercules, but it's just a little bit too late.
No.
Baskin on the march. That's going to be a change.
No, Baskin's in trouble and now has to run back to the ring, but Panda just
Panda.
beats him down in the back of the head. It's only Aquarius and BaRRaCCuDDa alive. Barra has both his relics, Desert Fury down. I don't think he can stop this Phoenix falling. He might be able to stop the end of the game, though.
I don't know if eUnited can end, but they might be able to take all 3 Phoenixes here with the double Hunter, the Hachiman, the Fafnir, even without that Draconic Corruption form. That's so much objective damage.
Nice little pull back in from Aquarius, and now the beatdown is on. Luckily enough, there's no Phoenix
at
on the
Benji.
right, so Benji will escape. However, LG do hold at least one of their 2 Phoenixes there.
Just so much trouble. Luminosity looked like they were going to respond correctly. Baskin, I love the change into the Odin that he's been working with, and then Mask with the blink ultimate. Unfortunately, and I know I called it a miss. It got jumped over.
Yeah, that was just a good individual play from PandaCat more than
Yeah.
anything else. And I agree that the Odin transformation for Baskin was very good in the early game, but it's just not doing it for me anymore. I mean, sure, he misses PandaCat there, but even if he traps PandaCat in that ring, it's not that big of a deal. They have got enough damage to bring him down now. That's part of the reason why I'm not sure how much I like this Morrigan pick here. I know that it won the first few games in this set. It was the deciding pick, but those had impactful transformation options on both sides. This time, I don't know if there is one.
And can we imagine if Mask had actually gone damage and then Baskin could go, hey, we've got 2 Naja ultimates, hey, we've got 2 ring tosses, hey,
And
we've
that's
got
what
2
Trifecta
Satchels.
did. That's what Trifecta did. They
Yeah.
had Heroine consistently transforming into Naja, and then it was basically nearly one-shotting 2 people in every fight with Naja ultimate.
Also,
Not the case here.
Hercules is going to go 0-5 in the finals, just saying.
Yeah.
By the looks of it right now, Hercules is 0-4. This could be 0-5.
Which is insane because Benji, I think, has one of the best Hercules on the planet. And Aquarius, although I'll be him new, has certainly shown an adept Hercules.
He's had a really good game here. I mean, the boulder that he
Yeah.
misses is probably what going to be everyone thinks of, but
No, you can't figure that.
overall, his Earthbreakers have been really, really consistent. How many? At one point, we were riding along with BaRRa. He picked up 2 members and got 2 sets of beads with it.
Meanwhile, mid lane, one more push for eUnited. Keep an eye on Benji on the right-hand side. BaRRaCCuDDa's got him in his periffs. Benji's going to go ahead and start the tank. BaRRaCCuDDa just looking for the basics. And Benji, with his juke boots on, not going to let him hit.
His job is just to get to the front line and cause problems.
There
So
it
allow
is.
Scream to blink in, get the ring off. Mike transforms. However, LG in not bad position here.
Love the positioning. There's a double knock-up on both Hunters.
Oh,
And
Baskin's dead.
PandaCat. Oh, yeah! Bringing the Suns. It's going to be a 2 for 2 so far. LG biting back kind of nice. But is it
They need to
nice
back up.
enough?
They need to back up. The reason they do is because they killed the carries of eUnited, which means that there's no tower damage that eUnited can put up. Both Hunters are dead. For Mask and Baskin, that's a win so far.
Oh, but PolarBearMike doesn't care. He's going to go right on into
Watch the
BaRRaCCuDDa.
Thorns.
He's got Benji in tow. Thorns is good.
Good peel.
There's a pull. Benji half HP. Dealing with Aquarius while the rest of his team, which is pretty much just PolarBearMike and Scream,
can't kill the
try
Phoenix,
to
boys.
chip down this tower.
They're trying to chip it down at the Phoenix, but at the same time, now Barra's back again, and they're on the run. They managed to get it.
I like that.
Surprised. They managed to do that. Shout out to the Fire Giant.
Yeah, plenty of extra damage from the Fire Giant. I mean, Scream has gotten a little bit more damage-oriented with that Masamune at the end of his build as well, so it ends up being A-okay for eUnited. They get both that Phoenix at mid.
Who makes that call? Who makes that call?
What, to stick on the Phoenix?
Yeah.
That's just
Benji saying, I'm full health with Thorns and Hide of the Nemean Line and Mystical Mail, and BaRRaCCuDDa would rather fight anyone on the planet than me.
To be fair, it was Scream that was the first one whacking away at that Phoenix then.
Yep.
I think overall they realized that they were tanky enough to just hold on there, knowing BaRRa was going to take a few more seconds to get back. 3 Fire Giant buffs on all 3 members. A couple of auto attacks on that, and it's going to cause enough problems.
Also, I love the Witchblade builds coming out from the eUnited guys so they can engage there knowing that BaRRaCCuDDa is not going to be able to do it.
Only one of them now, because Scream, as soon as you said that, went nowhere. I thought, you can't be right. I'm going to switch that for a Stone of Gaia.
Well, at least he still has the, he's got the Masamune there, so kind of nice stuff. Like it. Thumbs up. Cool.
A+.
Excellent.
Can you do your Hu Yi impression again?
I do. Hi, yeah.
It's really bad, isn't it?
You said it was good yesterday.
I know I did.
So bad. It's so good.
Do you know why I said it was good yesterday? So I couldn't make you say it on the
No,
podcast.
it's so good. It's hi, yeah. I sound just like the guy.
it doesn't sound anything like
I could be the guy.
It isn't as good
I
as...
am
I've
the
seen
guy.
you wear a cowboy hat and you don't look that
It isn't
cool.
as good as your
I wasn't
Jean-
wearing anything else.
Listen, it isn't as good as your Jean-Pierre impression.
Don't quit.
No, that's good.
No, that's really good.
That's
right?
solid.
Don't quit.
That's amazing. Like that one, I could close my eyes and imagine.
I'm still
everything.
proud of my Chronos. Let's go. That's what Mask is going to say. Right on top of PandaCat, bringing him down, but not enough damage. Venenu waiting on the backside as JeffHindla jumps in, and LG
Baskin.
actually have a nice defensive stop, pushing eUnited off the
Baskin went
left
so
side.
deep for the kill of Panda, and he still can't find it because Venenu was whacking away at the back of his head. He was still trying to find the kill. If Mask hits that up with a full damage build there, Panda's out. Dead, as in out. Instead, he's actually going to live with over 60% of his health there after the ultimate. There was no further follow-up, and this could be game.
Who's Jeff? He's not there. Venenu with the kill. BaRRaCCuDDa jumped on by Scream. Aquarius comes on for help. Mask on the left-hand side. Keep an eye on Benji. He's low, but he's still got control. He's coming right up at the front side, and he's going to take care of Mask with the help of Scream. 3 players down, 3 Phoenixes down, and eUnited with the gas in the tank. Pedal to the metal. Suns are dropped. Titans to target. Ladies and gentlemen, your first seed, it's eUnited.
Impressive stuff from the eUnited boys. They were the top seed in North America during the online portion of the fall split. They come here to LAN. It takes them 5 games, but they take it to Luminosity and punch their ticket as a top seed in North America.
It was a very interesting set overall because I never felt one team dominated at all. It was very back and forth, very close between the two. eUnited, though, I think a lot of people coming into this would have probably had them with their performances so far. LG, though, always a fan favorite, always expecting to be in amongst the pigeons, and they were.
The cleaner games, I think, were the ones that eUnited did wind up winning, which I think is impressive. We saw the quickest game of the set actually belonged to eUnited. That was game number 3? Game number 4. And then game number 5 here, again, just looked really clean.
Look, the EU teams, I know they've been really dominant during Season 4, but they've got to be prepared when they go up against eUnited or Luminosity, for that matter. I mean, these are 2 teams that have really grown. I mean, you look at the level of play from the NA teams at, Spring Masters land to now, it's absolutely night and day.
That's the one thing that EU do have to watch out for. Last year, EU only sent 2 teams to Worlds, and those 2 teams ended up in the finals. NA this time around, they're going to send 2 teams to Worlds, and the EU boys have probably been like the last couple of years. We've not had to worry. It's okay. NA means nothing. They do kind of have to worry, especially when LG's there. Always been to a semi-final at worst. And even then, taking teams to best of 5s from Europe at the same time. Now you got the new boys in the block, eUnited, which not a lot of teams from EU have really played against them.
Very true.
There's some understanding, though, because, Rafa did draft Benji and PandaCat for that All-Star game, so he understands it at least. What about the rest of Europe?
That's a very big point. Keep in mind, both of these teams will be at HRX this January, so you will be able to get an eye on BaRRaCCuDDa and friends. However, they will not be first seed. That one goes to PolarBearMike. A fantastic, fantastic set. All the way to the finish line, eUnited up on top.
And welcome back here to the desk for Super Regionals. eUnited versus LG. We just saw the set, and eUnited came out on top, looking like the 1 seed that they were. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that set there, Tolly.
I mean, it was all Scream the whole entire time, ending the game at 6-1-15, having 100% kill participation on this Odin, really taking advantage of Mask's missed opportunities on this Naja, just missing a few too many ring bounces early game.
I understand the mindset that Mask was looking for when he chose to go with a predominantly tanky build, but Scream just had all the answers, and he had all the timing that was necessary. I mean, he started things off with a bang. Level 2 already securing the double kill, and this really established the pacing for the game.
Yeah, it really looked like at no point did they want to give back up that pressure, did eUnited. And you talked about a little bit here that it was Scream that was really the one driving the pace for it, but his opponent there, Mask, does end up going that full build, that full sort of defensive build. And you said you understood the mindset. What was it that Mask was looking for with that build?
He really just wanted to try and match what Benji and Scream were actually able to absorb. When it comes to Luminosity's draft, they're kind of banking a little bit more on having that frontline presence from Mask, because Bacchus and Hercules, they're going to be your initiators for the most part if Mask isn't landing the ultimates. And that's kind of where things fell apart a little bit, is even when Mask was like landing those Naja ultimates, they just had a really tough time on Luminosity following up, because it wasn't like what we saw when Trifecta ran this Morrigan Naja combination. It was an issue of the members that Mask would pull up not being dead by the time that they landed.
He just didn't do enough damage, like you were talking about, because he was so worried about all these double hunters. He tried to eliminate one of them from a team fight. You know, taking them out for even 3 seconds is good enough for the rest of his team to follow up and not worry about their DPS. But the problem was also Baskin here going 0-5-6. He didn't have the damage either. It was all up to BaRRaCCuDDa to get off the damage. I think this is the one team fight where it was a beautiful engage. I think it was Mask blinking through the wall, catching PandaCat, but not enough damage to finish off the blow. It was great body blocking coming from eUnited.
Oh, those were wonderful. Peel. That was just so much of work by eUnited to ensure that they kept their hunter alive, because PandaCat, almost any other situation, he's probably going to die there to Mask, but just couldn't find those in-hands that were necessary. And on the backside, while Mask has him up in the air, Bear's just dying to Benji.
And I think you touched on it there. Baskin on this Morrigan pick, he really didn't have anybody too impactful to turn into. What were your thoughts on this Morrigan pick there for Baskin and why it struggled?
It was just simply the meta that shifted into this Morrigan pick. Venenu ran it against Trifecta to wonders, and that's why Luminosity didn't want eUnited to have it for so long. And then Baskin showed that he could play it really well earlier on this set, but unfortunately this time around, eUnited stripped away some really good options, taking away the Sravan as well as LG even banning away the Ratatasker.
Yeah.
So where does Baskin really lean on? It wasn't the same way he used to play this entire Super Regionals.
It was really just a lack of damage all around from Luminosity. BaRRaCCuDDa just had way too much pressure on him to perform, and he did perform, don't get me wrong, by any means. BaRRa kept Luminosity in that match for probably longer than what they should have been, because of the fact he was once more able to establish that lead early on because of some great plays out of him and Jeff, but it just wasn't enough, because Double Hunter just becomes too much to handle, especially for a lone carry like Anhur that doesn't have the same sort of late game transition as others.
And I want to talk a little bit here about this Hercules pick. It feels like the whole set, Hercules has kind of struggled. And it was still something that they kept going back to. They kept valuing. What was it that Hercules struggled with this set?
It was just not finding the right targets at the right time. They tried so hard to get people out of position with the pulls, pushes. The one time that Hercules looked like it might have been doing well, there was an RDO pick to have to worry about. So he never got off the wombo combos. But more importantly, it was the people going up against the Hercules. You know, you had a Kabrakan coming out of Benji, then just his signature Chulainn not able, or sorry, the Hercules not able to really keep the same impact as the Chulainn.
And that was pretty much the same story from what I was witnessing as well. It's just an issue of Aquarius not really able to make anything happen on that Hercules. There was entirely too much frontline presence, too much aggressive frontline presence at that from eUnited. Great response from the team, I think, to pick up that Fafnir and the Chulainn, because that just automatically meant even if Aquarius wanted to initiate, there was no way he was actually going to break through.
And normally whenever you have a Hercules on one side, you want generally longer ranged abilities to follow suit off of the pull pushes, but Baskin playing this Morrigan a little bit too close range, and he got just picked off one too many times here.
And I think that was sort of the problem for that LG comp in general, really, was that there wasn't that long range burst damage that we typically see out of them. Even at the end of the Naja ultimate, I mean, there wasn't really the big follow up for it or anything like that. Or is there anything different you would have liked to see on that same LG comp to maybe synergize better?
I feel as though as soon as the Morrigan selection came through from eUnited, they probably unanimously agreed to not run a mage in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Because they automatically assumed they would fare much better with that double hunter, and don't give Baskin an option seemed to be the mentality here, and that's, I think, what forced him more often than not to try and run that Odin rotation. Believe it or not, I actually would have probably preferred just to see a Rom out of BaRRa as opposed to the Anhur. Even though he played the Anhur great, it just didn't have the damage that they needed to compensate.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite enough there that they needed. But let's go ahead and take a look here. Again, that was 2v3 here. 3 came out for eUnited. They're the ones that won. Let's go ahead and get the bracket up here. This is actually our world bracket. We can already take a seat where eUnited are. Now that we know they were the top team to come out from North America, we'll get that 1 seed out from Europe a little bit later. But this is to get you that first glimpse here at the World Championship.
Benji making worlds yet again. Same story compared to 2 years ago when he was under that enemy banner, being able to kind of sneak in there. But this time he's going to be approaching it as that first seed.
And for Luminosity, you can already tell they're going to be facing off against the Oceanic team, I believe, Scylla Esports. So that should be a pretty exciting matchup for them at Worlds. Definitely going to give them a little bit of homework to do to try and get some of that international experience in mind.
And that shows you just what's on the line here for these games. As you can tell from that bracket, when you don't get that first seed, it's a little bit more work you got to do if you want to be able to hoist up that hammer, if you want to be the #1 team and win that World Championship event there for Smite at the end. But again, eUnited, we talked a lot about some things LG could have done better, but eUnited, let's talk about how well they played. In particular, I feel like Benji just went off this set.
Oh, absolutely. He's been the focal point a lot for eUnited's success. We were listening to PolarBearMike saying how they rely on him, at least in the LAN setting. They're like, we don't really care what you do online. Show up on LAN, we'll be happy.
Yeah, that's basically what he said, right? Just get me to LAN and I'll show up there for you. But those eUnited guys, they're real happy they were able to pull out that win, the #1 seed for North America. In fact, we got an interview with him. Tom, tell us what's going on.
Hey, thanks a lot, Finch. Yeah, Tom Banninger here, standing with the entirety of eUnited. I'm done holding this trophy. This trophy, I'm going to pull up my mic. Don't worry, I got a trophy for you. Here you go. You guys won and looked fantastic while doing it above LG. First of all, just congratulations. Thank you. Go ahead and have some fun with that trophy. But I want to ask you a couple of questions, Mike, actually. You guys looked great out there. And, you have spearheaded this team for a long time, right? And you've been talking about everything that you guys are put together. How can you explain the eUnited family?
I think we have a ton of fun with each other every night when we scrim. I think it's like a joy to be around these guys. They're all so hardworking. I think they're all really good. And it's nice to be carried by them.
I mean, you say nice to be carried by him, but we have a replacement trophy. But you put in work yourself, and as sort of the player coach, like we always like to say, you're the de facto leader. I mean, how much work have you individually put in here?
I'd say at the start of the summer split, I put in a lot. Like, I probably had to talk to Scream almost every night, or like every day before scrims. That was not fun. Like 2-hour talks, but throughout the split, I'd say whenever we got Ven, he worked with the team much better. I think we all got along, and it kind of just clicked.
Clearly, we see that. I mean, #1 in the regular season. You guys going to Worlds as the #1 seed. I guess I'm going to give you the easier question. Did you expect to be this good?
I expected top 2 for sure. I didn't know what would happen here at LAN. You never know what the meta kind of develops into, but anything but top 2 would definitely be a disappointment.
You guys certainly, obviously took it to the bank and looked really strong. I got somebody else to talk to here, but is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just thanks for anyone who supports us. Thanks to the eUnited guys, and it's been a great ride.
PolarBearMike, the captain, de facto leader, and of course, support player for eUnited here. But we do have a series MVP as well. eUnited, I think, honestly, all 5 of you guys looked really fantastic. But a little bit of discussion, and ladies and gentlemen, Benji, you are the finals MVP. Congratulations, man. Really stepped it up here. I have the trophy. Here you go. I won't drop this. Don't worry. I didn't drop it before. It fell off of a chair. But pretend like it doesn't. Benji here, formerly known as Salt Machine by a whole bunch of names, but the gameplay has been the same. Talk to me about, you just look like one of the best ones out there in solo lane.
Today?
In general.
Oh, well, maybe. Deathwalker is obviously the best, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I played great today, but you know, there are scrim partners. We all make mistakes.
Well, when it comes down to it, I mean, the fans at home and everybody really appreciate the type of work and effort level you guys have brought. You've had ups and downs in your career. This is probably, I mean, this is definitely one of the ups. How has the journey been to get here?
Well, this is the first good team I've been on in a while. They don't choke under pressure, which is always nice. And yeah, we all just go through.
Yeah, you seem to really work well with these guys compared to other teams. I don't want you to necessarily dwell on the bad, but talk a little bit about how you fit in with these guys.
I don't know. We're all really good friends. We goof off. We have fun. When we lose scrims, it isn't too bad. Yeah, that's. Yeah, we usually show up to scrims.
Usually. Well, you showed up to finals.
Sometimes go to Chipotle mid-scrim, that type of stuff.
Well, either way, you guys certainly showed up to finals. #1 seed. Congratulations to the finals MVP, Benji specifically, and of course the rest of eUnited. You guys absolutely earned it. Looked fantastic. We'll talk back to Finch.